Everybody. Balaram Das here once again. And today I wanted to just do a quick live stream for all y'all on this beautiful Saturday night and do another introduction of me and John Kennedy's partnership and showcase a little bit of knowledge that we're trying to get out to you guys. Now, we just actually finished a class. It's titled Sovereignty and Me, the private class that goes over certain legal and law documents like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and more importantly, goes over private trust administration. Because uh, as we've been moving into this game, that all y'all are aware, y'all have been following my story, and y'all have probably been following John also. Uh, we're dealing with a malevolent entity that we call the government, and it has kind of spawned into this uh, almost like this cesspool of corruption and manipulation. And the reason why that's happened is because we've basically, by our own silence, agreed to participate in their financial money laundering schemes that they're playing and ultimately slave trading. And so to get around this and to really separate ourselves from it and also start to change it from the inside, because if you're watching this, you're living inside of it. uh, in order to tesseract it and to bring heaven on earth, which is our goal, knowledge and wisdom is the first step. It's the first key. And so I wanted to do a quick introduction of me and John on all my platforms here and just I'll know that we're moving in full force. If you're watching my YouTube channel, y'all know me previously from working with Zero Point University. Well, that's long gone. I did an announcement on that already. But me and John, he's been helping me. He helped me so much without asking for anything. And so I've dedicated all that I can to make sure that we both succeed. And ultimately, everybody watching the stream is going to be able to succeed. So expect a lot more regular content from us. Our intention is throughout the week to be streaming details about our particular cases that we're going to be going through, as well as some new information that we come across on a regular basis. So let me go ahead and turn it over to John so he can introduce himself properly.
How you doing, everybody? My name is John Kennedy of the House of French, also known as Reverend Father John Kennedy. Just wanted to introduce myself to some of the people that don't know me, to those of you that do. Hi once again. It's nice to see you guys again. Thank you for joining. We fell into this partnership, Brendan and I, Balaram Das and I, kind of by accident. He asked me a few questions. I gave what answers I could, sat down on a couple of meetings with him and discussed some things and how he should move forward. And he had some very, very, very good success. It was helped a lot by his demeanor and the way that he actually articulates the information that he's been given. Your ability to present this stuff in a manner that makes it hard for people to question and easy for people to follow is what is most important in all of this. Because as you move into this knowledge, you are going to be considered a wacko, a quack. You're going to be laughed at. You're going to be ostracized. You're going to be tarred and feathered, and every other way of discrimination that you can think of under the sun is going to hit you. You will not be able to do certain things because of people violating your religious and political beliefs. But ultimately, you're going to come to the realization that a lot of these things aren't even necessary in the first place. And so what Brendan and I have set out to do is take all the information that we've been able to gather separately together, and put it in a package that's going to be easy for you to comprehend, and go through it in a way that nobody else has up until now. You have a few different groups and streamers and people that make YouTube videos that go over some of this information, but nobody ever takes the time to really go through line by line and dissect everything that you're saying and doing in these documents. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to discuss definitions, words, philosophy, spiritualism, spirituality, because there's two different things there. One is following the path of spirituality, and one is being aware of it. And I mean fully aware, the I am presence. All of this is important to know with this stuff because you have to know who you are. And it isn't until you know who you are, and it isn't until you really dissect these words that you can find out who you really are, because you think you know, but you really have no idea. You really don't. So we're going to start with, shorts a couple of times a week. If we can manage it, we'll do daily. We're going to be hitting, little points of authorities in our own cases, just little odds and ends that you guys need to know. Hell, we might only pop on sometimes for a quick 3 or 4 minutes just to drop a really good nugget that we just happen to get. You know what I mean? The goal of these little short videos is we want to build the relationship with you guys. We want you guys to know that we're not just full of it, that this is what we do day in and day out. This is it for us. We live, breathe, eat, sleep, all of it. If it's not secured party, if it's not banking, treasury, credit, if it's not these things, then the only time we're paying attention to it is at the end of the night before bed when we need to decompress, and that's real. And sometimes even then, sometimes my decompression is listening to old Winston Trout videos. So yeah, just wanted to say hello again, introduce myself, let you guys know what we're all about. The goal here again is to usher in heaven on earth and to make you guys all a part of it. Because if we're not finding some way to get a real concerted, organized effort to do this, we're not going to be able to get anywhere. And so we got to start thinking of how we're going to move as a unit, and more importantly, move as the corporation. Let's take this script and flip it on them. We create our own corporations when we start our trust. They're unincorporated businesses, I should say. And you have all of the rights and the abilities that all of these LLCs, S corps, C corps, all of these other things can do. A whole lot less rigmarole to go through them. It doesn't cost jack to get a DBA. It doesn't cost jack to get your DUNS number, and that's all you need, right? You get your DUNS number, your cage code, and stuff like that. You get your credit for your trust and your other entities, and you start building that credit. Forget all of the fees for doing all this other corporate stuff. There's no need of it. No need of it at all whatsoever. So with that being said, I'm going to let it go back to Brendan in case he has any topics that he'd like to go over a little bit before we take off. But thank you guys for being with me. Again, Reverend Father John Kennedy, namaste.
Thanks, John. Man, don't you love him? One thing I wanted to go over today, this is the little nugget that I wanted to give y'all for today to kind of set the tone for the future streams we're going to have. This is the concept of the Holy Trinity here when it comes to trust. Now, the reason why we're focusing on trust is that everything that we're dealing with is really trust law at the end of the day. All the other laws like corporate law, tax law, state law, probate, when you're in court right now, all the rules of procedure and all that, they're really dealing with estates and trusts. That's all those things are. When you go into court, for example, when the court creates a case, when the DA files it with the clerk, okay, the clerk creates a new what's called constructive trust. And the corpus of that trust, in fact, let me write that down. The corpus of that trust is actually the violation of statute, which has a monetary value. Okay, so this right here is the trust corpus on the inside of this triangle. Or the property. Okay. And so for, when we're talking about the Father or God, this is really earth. But when we're talking about a case, for example, we're typically talking about the estate. We're either talking about the estate with your all caps name on it, and then all of the bonds or financial instruments that are monetizing that estate. Okay, so it's super important to comprehend this. So in a smaller case, right? So if we're dealing with a court case, for example, the creator would be the clerk. The beneficiary or the assumed beneficiary of the case would be the state or the judge who's representing the state. And then the fiduciary or the trustee is presumed to be you. Okay. And so in that particular case, what you have to do though is correct the record. I can post some videos of some other people doing this before, but you ask the clerk, have you assigned the DA as the executor for this constructive trust? The judge is actually acting as your name in all caps, trust, okay, and holding you as the fiduciary, appointing you as fiduciary to pay for the case. So when they take you through their questioning, right, and they say, do you understand the charges being made against you? They're asking you, do you agree to the charges being made against your name and against your body? When you say yes, thinking they're asking if you've comprehended those things, then you fall into the responsible party. You are now the responsible party. Now, if you correct the record though, and we teach you how to do that, you correct the record. Now you're in the beneficiary position. You're the one who has what's called valuable consideration for this constructive trust. You're the one who's supposed to be getting paid from it. And really, the judge or the actual individual man or woman will be held as the responsible party. And that you can look up a law called the Power of Appointment Act of 1951. You'll see that it's talking about estates and trusts, but because of the nature of our current corporate de facto government, all of their functionality is through trust. Now, on the higher scheme of things, we all have a covenant with God, the Creator, the Most High. My tradition, we call him Sri Krishna. And that covenant and that relationship is unique. And he lives inside of us also as the Holy Spirit, or in some traditions called the guardian angel. And they're to protect us and watch over us because we are the beneficiaries, or we are the ones who are supposed to be reaping the benefit from the earth, right? But right now, we've given that away to a group of individuals who have decided to use the earth for a means of exploitation and profit. And so understanding this concept and comprehending this concept, this is the key to breaking down all of their codes, all their statutes, all of the cases they throw at you, all the terminology. They're really speaking in terms of business. It's all business. And so separating yourself emotionally is super huge. So I want to get into one definition because I'm going to keep this short, the stream short. I want to get into one of our favorite ones. John, you're going to like this. I just got my Black's Law second in the mail.
Yes. That's my baby right there.
Yep, we're going to go to the term monster. Okay, because I use this in my case. Monetization, monogamy. Here we go. Monster. Here we go. Monster. This is in page 790 of Black's Law second edition. A prodigious birth, a human birth or offspring not having the shape of mankind, which cannot be heir to any land, albeit be brought forth in marriage. And so
I love that I lipped that word for word with you.
Yep. the reason we bring this up is because if you read all the statutes, I haven't found any state that defines human being yet. But human being, the word human birth is used only in this definition. And so there, it's very, very real that you're being considered a creature. Okay, you're considered a creature of paper in the eyes of these corporate de facto entities. Now, that's not what you really are, right? And that's the ultimate mental illness that we're all kind of been brought into, right? We grew, most of y'all were in public school. Y'all, 8 times a day, that name was called and you said here, here, here. And so then when they call you in court, right, you're so used to it that you say, yes, that's me. Yes, I'm here. But that's
Now,
not who they're referring to.
if I can interrupt for just a second to expound
Yeah.
on what you said there, and
Mhm.
that is the definition of the word monster also proves that it is in fact an impossibility to be a human, that a human only exists on paper. Because if you were to take the word, the compound word human, and break it down, hue is short for hue, the HU is short for HUE, hue, which means light and or color, right? Of man. So if it is the color of man, it cannot be the man. And so it's just you have to pull yourself out of the realm and realize that you're not human. You never were human. You're never going to be human. You are a man or a woman. If you really want to get technical and you want to use a term that the estates or entities are going to recognize, it's non-resident alien. Ronald Reagan was very, very clear about this in his speech back in the 80s at the height of Reaganomics, when he said, aren't we already in the midst of an alien threat? When he was once given the question or posed the idea that in order for us to come together as a society, we have to face some sort of outside threat. And his exact words were, is not an alien threat already here? And he was right on that on multiple levels, and he was using it against us in multiple levels. One, us as the non-resident aliens, the United States, the government, those people, right, who are agents, they're very well under a real threat from aliens, us. Because we, as non-resident aliens, are the biggest threat to their bottom line that there is, because we're proof that you don't have to exist in that universe. And then B, he's also correct on another more esoteric, and that would be the alien threat that has been manipulating our system for the last few thousand years that's sitting in the Vatican right now, and that would be the Homo capensis. If you don't know who the Homo capensis is, I highly suggest that you look up Karen Hudes, Hudes. She is the reason why the CIA coined the term Karen. She is the reason why we haven't gone into a full-blown banking frenzy with everything crashing. She's former counsel for the IMF World Bank. And she came forward, eyewitness proof, that there are elongated extraterrestrials, a offshoot of Homo sapien called Homo capensis, with elongated skulls that live in the Vatican, which is why they wear the big long hats. And their lineage traces all the way back. You can look up the Park of Skulls. But this was some of the disclosure that she was offering back in 2011 and 2012. And all of the things that she talked about with the banking industry, now you got to understand, she's counsel for the World Bank. Doesn't get any higher than that. And everything that she's talked about as far as the banking system has come to pass exactly how she said it would. So compounding back on that, you have to understand and know who you are. You cannot be human. You cannot be the name because the name is human. Rant over. Back to Brendan. No sound, Brendan.
The goal. Am I on? Okay. Sorry about that. Jan, you're absolutely correct. Knowing who you are is number one. And it goes, so we can get super deep into that. You'll be seeing content from me as well about these particular spiritual topics. You're not even your body. Your body is yours, but it's not you, just like your car. But, that's super most important. We have to realize that we are souls in flesh. Sometimes they say soul made flesh, or put the flesh encasing over it. But comprehending that fact, you can walk in anywhere, it doesn't matter. The superior man stays within his own domain. So having that knowledge, you can walk into any place and be resonating that truth. And, your protector will be there. So, to cap it all off, the goal of learning all this, learning all the trust, learning how to do all the financial stuff, learning how to discharge debt, the gardening, the real estate, the everything is all for heaven on earth. That's our main mission. And that's what we're committed to for everyone. Anyone who wants to be a part of it, they can be a part of it because we live in a free will universe. So if you want to contribute to this, please donate to our cause. I'm going to put the links here in the video. If you want to donate to us, all of them are accepted and very much appreciated. All the classes that we do too, all the private work that we do, whether it be private sessions with John and I, whether it be forming your trust, whether it be participating in the private group classes, those are all done by donation because we only want you to give willingly. I would love for us to be able to accept international bills of exchange and promissory notes and all these things. But at the moment, due to the way that the system is being moved and operated, they don't give us a choice. We have to use their Federal Reserve notes. We have to, we use the gold and silver because that's commonly accepted. We do trading as well. We're here to give as much value as we possibly can to the community. And so we literally live off of donations. So please, if you feel generous and feel inclined, donate to the links right below, right under me. And we're going to go ahead and end the stream here. If y'all are interested in more, we have a class every Saturday right now at 5 p.m. Central Time. $25 to sign up for that class. If you would like or are interested in having your trust formed and having some private sessions with us on going over all the documentation and the heaps of knowledge that's required to really be able to execute the trust properly and administer the trust properly, you can either message myself or John Kennedy privately, and we'll be happy to help you. And with that being said, God bless you all, and Hare Krishna.